hated characters in pop culture. These characters didn't just get hated inside their own shows. They got hated so hard they turned into legendary memes. But brace yourself, because just looking at the face of one of these characters is enough to ruin your whole damn day. Sakura Haruno. Let's start with a character that genuinely hurts the soul. Wasted potential in human form. Sakura Haruno. And no, Sakura didn't start off bad. She had intelligence, control, discipline, everything she needed to become a savage ninja. For a while it even looked like she might get more development than Naruto himself. But then, everything turned into absolute poop. Instead of a bright future, they turned her into a girl who would gladly throw her entire life away for Sasuke. Every single time it felt like she was about to do something impressive, they yanked her right back to worshipping her lifelong crush. Didn't matter how much she trained, how many fights she won, or how advanced she became medically, they always found a way to reduce her to Sasuke's emotional pet. And the worst of all? This relationship isn't even interesting. It's not love. It's just Sakura acting obsessed over a dude who barely acknowledges her existence. That's what makes it so frustrating. Sakura could have achieved so much. She had good moments, heavy hits, smart decisions, but every step forward came with 10 steps backward in dignity. While other characters grew through pain, Sakura stayed stuck, defending someone who never chose her. And it's not that she's weak, it's that the writers turned her into something way worse, a professional emotional doormat. That's why the hate isn't random. It's hate mixed with disappointment. Watching season after season as a character with every tool to shine gets reduced to an emotional accessory. Sakura isn't a bad character. She is something worse. She's a broken promise. And that hurts way more than any villain, because you don't hate her for what she is. You hate her for what they never let her become. Velma. Velma gets double hate, and honestly, well deserved. First of all, classic Velma was actually a great character. She was smart, helpful, and never had to put anyone down to prove she had a brain. So then, why the hell did they execute her character and replace her with this bitch? Modern Velma doesn't investigate. She commands. She spends the entire time correcting everyone like they're a dog in obedience training.
Hey, no.
Constantly reminding the group that they're idiots, that she's superior, and that without her, the world would collapse. In any case, the world still collapses, and even harder because of her. The problem isn't confidence, it's toxicity. She doesn't add anything to the group anymore. She actually drains it. She kills the entire mystery of the show, the charm, the entire vibe. Every single scene with her feels like working with the most unbearable co-worker imaginable, to the point where you're literally praying she shuts up or just disappears. They completely stripped Velma out of her essence, from being the understanding, reliable friend to turning her into a straight-up harpy. And just to finish the job, this version is also low-key promiscuous. As if we didn't already have enough reasons to hate her. Ice Age Baby. The public enemy nobody asked for, but everyone learned to hate without needing an explanation. That big-headed little menace with giant eyes, and that I already screwed up, and I'm about to do it again. Smile. Because let's be real, every single problem in Ice Age starts, gets worse, or drags on longer because of that damn baby. Seriously, he doesn't talk, he doesn't help, he understands absolutely nothing, and yet the entire world risks their lives for this useless diapered mess, like he's the messiah in a onesie. The Ice Age baby is not cute, he is a demon child. He's constantly 1 second away from dying in some stupid way, and the rest of the characters have to stop surviving the Ice Age just to become full-time babysitters. Manny can't process his trauma, Sid can't be annoying in peace, Diego can't redeem himself properly. And why? Because the baby decided to crawl towards death again. But here comes the worst part. He never learns. There is no arc or no growth and no consequences. The baby keeps smiling while half the ecosystem collapses. You don't look at him and think, "Oh, how cute." You actually think, "Someone please tie him up before he gets someone killed." He adds nothing narratively, and yet everything revolves around him. That's why the internet hates him. Not just because he's an ugly baby, but because his entire purpose is to get himself in danger so everyone else has to go and save him. And when they finally return him to the adults, you somehow feel even more rage because he survived everything and didn't stay buried in the ice. This baby didn't define anyone's childhood. He stressed it out. And that's why, without saying a single word, he earned one of the most universal hates in pop culture just by existing. Ash. Everyone says they love Ash Ketchum, but if we're being honest, even defending him is exhausting at this point. He's the eternal protagonist, the guy who's been learning for decades and still hasn't graduated from Pokemon preschool. Ash starts with motivation, heart, dreams, and that's where he stays. Frozen like an iceberg. Years pass, entire regions, leagues, journeys, public humiliations, and the dude's still making mistakes that not even a beginner trainer would make. He loses, reflects for like 5 seconds, promises to improve, switches regions, and boom, he forgets everything he learned. Again, he doesn't know type matchups. Again, he overtrusts. Again, he makes stupid decisions in critical battles. And the most frustrating part isn't that he loses, it's that he never truly learns. His development gets wiped every season like a used napkin. And when he finally wins something big, you don't cheer or celebrate. You actually sigh and think, "About damn time, bro." It doesn't feel like a victory. It feels like overdue homework. Ash doesn't age. He doesn't mature, or he doesn't evolve. He's the only human in a world where Pokemon actually level up. And that's the real problem. It's not that he's bad. It's that he became a symbol of eternal stagnation. A protagonist who can't grow because the franchise won't allow it. Ash doesn't annoy you. He tires you out. And that's no longer fun to watch. Go get another job already. Star Butterfly. And now let's talk about someone who started as fireworks and ended up as a full-blown forest fire. Star Butterfly. At first she's likable, I won't lie. She's chaotic, energetic, fun. She breaks rules, throws spells like confetti, and it all feels fresh. The problem is that her tricks don't improve. They stay just as immature. And you go from seeing her as someone who could evolve to seeing her as a walking hazard. Star makes decisions that affect entire kingdoms, whole species, and the balance of the worlds, all under the magical excuse of, "I followed my heart." And instead of the show saying, "Oh yeah, that had consequences," it actually sides with her, applauds her, hugs her with emotional music in the background. The disaster is not the mistake. The disaster is the script insisting it was the right call just because Star followed her heart. And that's not growth, friends. That's irresponsibility decorated with glitter. Every time someone questions her choices, they're framed as the villains, the ones who don't understand her. Star doesn't learn to think, she learns to justify. She never fixes what she breaks, she just moves on with a smile and a new outfit. And that's how what started as a chaotic hero turns into a moral bomb, deciding everyone's fate without asking permission. Star Butterfly isn't hated because she makes mistakes. She's hated because she never doubts herself after the damage is done. Because destroying worlds recklessly doesn't make you brave, it makes you dangerous. And when a show confuses emotional confidence with being right, what you're left with is not a hero. It's a shiny reminder that good intentions can still ruin everything. And that, my friends, is a terrible example. Jar Jar Binks. To start with, Jar Jar Binks should have never existed in Star Wars. In a saga full of galactic wars, betrayal, and legendary storytelling, someone really said, "What if we add a clown with a weird accent who falls over every 5 seconds?" Amazing way to ruin the vibe, dude! While everyone's talking about invasions, treaties, and armies, this thing is over here making noises, tripping over himself, reacting like a malformed homunculus. It's not that he's clumsy. He simply doesn't belong. But the worst part is that his stupidity isn't harmless. It's actually infuriating. Jar Jar screws things up badly, causes massive problems, and still gets rewarded. Nobody learns anything. Nobody tells him to shut up. Nobody kicks him out of the room. He's just there, interrupting, yelling, draining the seriousness out of every scene. That's why the hate was so intense. Not because he's for kids, but because he betrays the promise of the story. You show up expecting epic space warfare, and they throw a deformed cartoon creature in your face. Jar Jar is living proof that one badly placed character can contaminate an entire story. He's not a villain. He's not a hero. He's an obstacle nobody asked for. And that alone was enough to make everyone want him erased. Not just from the story, but from the galaxy itself. So yeah, these were some of the most hated, unbearable, and stress-inducing characters almost everyone agrees on. Drop a comment and tell me, which one would you erase from existence? See you in the next one!